So we are welcome to today's class. In today's session, we want to start our HTML session. So the first thing we are going to do here is first of all create a folder. And how to create a folder, you right click, you see new, then you create your folder. Then after doing that, you come to your VS Code. You come to your VS Code. When you come to your VS Code, you see this place and that's a new uh, you see new I want to delete this first. Now you see welcome here. Now you see this free HTML. This are actual folder, and now in this folder here we are going to create most of our files that we'll be using to work on our HTML page. So I'm going to, this place is for new file, this is for new folder. If you want to create a folder inside this HTML, this is the new folder and this is the new file. So for new file, I can just say smart.html. So smart.html, you can see now my page, everything has landed here. So the next thing I will do here is, now in HTML, I'm going to do something short. I'm going to show you a shortcut that will render a page. So I'll just press shift, then press this sign. Press 1, shift plus 1. In your keyboard, you see shift. When you press shift, you press 1. Then you see this sign. You press the sign here. Now, if you notice this from 1 to 8, 1 to 8, or 1 to 11 here, we have, let me first of all comment all this. Now, here in HTML, there are various things that you need to understand. The first one is you must know your doc type. Doc type is just the first entry in your HTML page, your HTML code. Then the next thing is your HTML. Then you can observe this now. When I was explaining this session, I told you that in verb, I explained subject and verb to you. I told you that in the HTML we have opening and closing tag. So that is how it is for you. That is how it is here. This HTML is serving as a subject, and inside this subject we also have other necessary codes inside it that is serving as a predicate or verb. So from here we can proceed with our head. This is our head. Now if you notice this head, then after your head we also have the next stage, which is called our body. So these are your necessary, you must know in your HTML. It's a necessary thing you must know in it. But the problem is that you don't put head inside, you don't put body inside your head. Okay, you don't put body inside your head, rather you put body inside your HTML. So the body is inside the HTML. So this is how it should be. So the body is inside the HTML. Then we have our head here. This head helps us to it shows the title in the page. So now in this head, now we have our title. That's the title of our page. We just put our head there, showing the title in the page. So the title is our first HTML 5 page. So that's the title. Now if you want to open this in your browser, I told you that you need to have browser, and this browser you can use Chrome or whatever. So if you use your browser, I already have there's what we call a live server. If you don't have a live server, you can install that. How do you install it? Come to this place, your extension. Then when you come to your extension, you can just come here and live server. So you can come to this place and install your live server. So I already have my live server here with me, so there's no point in storing my live server. So there's no need doing that. So the next stage now is I will just progress and right click. When I right click, I see here, I come to this because I already have my live server. I click here, open with live server. Then when I open with live server, it will take me to it will render my page to my browser. And observe, notice you can see this, our first HTML page, HTML5 page. So this is our first HTML5 page. That's where the title of the page is. But the issue now is that we don't have anything here. We don't have anything here. There's nothing here. So what we are going to do here, in our page here, we have our head and we have our body. So this our body is the main thing we will be working in our HTML. But before that, you notice that if you look at most web pages, they have patterns. Let's use Linda EKG block. Now if you look at Linda's EKG block, you notice that welcome. So this is how a web page looks like. This is now in a web page is arranged with the title and the main, the body. So if you look at this place here, these are your main body. These are the main body in the page. So these are the main body in your web page. Now if you look at this, you keep going. So you notice that all these places here, you notice that all these places here are your web page. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do our web page? Now in every website has pattern. What you need to do is that you need to first of all get all your tags, and getting all your tags, the first thing is we have our h1 tag. So our h1 tag now means that it's just like, let's just say for instance now we have animals. Let's use an animal for instance. We have animal, and this animal, inside animal we have wide animal. Now this h1 is telling you that okay, this is arranged in animal. Then in h2 you have wide animal. Then you also have h3. Now inside this h3 again is another sub multiple of, okay, you can just say h2 again. You can just say in animal we have wild animal and we have domestic animal. You can just say domestic animal. So you can, if you notice this now, these wild animals and domestic animals, they are of the same thing. They are of the same thing. Then h3 now is now the sub of h2, the sub of h2. So you can say h3 now. We can just write h3 inside h3. We can just do it this way, or I just want to create a pattern of this. So we can just say inside h2 we have h3, because I told you that h3 is the sub. So in h now we can have wild animals. Examples of wild animals, we have lion, we have zebra, elephant. So that's it. So this is examples of this. So we have h3, we have h4, we have h5, and continuous like that. So if you want to do this, you make sure you auto save, or you Control S, you save it. You save it, Control S, then you go to your page, then everything renders. Then you can see your web page here. Everything renders in your web page. Animal, wild animals, lion, zebra. And so if you notice this now, this is the first parents chain, which is your h1. This is your h2. Wild animals h2, domestic animals h2. Then inside them we have h3, which is lion, zebra, and elephants. So these are your notable things you must HTML. They are very notable things that you must know in HTML. Then the next thing now we are going to look at now is, if you're writing your page, definitely every page you are writing you must have a paragraph. You must have a when aligned text when writing page. So you can't just be doing it this way. Then definitely in doing this, you are going to have an aligned text. An aligned text, that means all what is inside this. So now that aligned text is your what we call the p tag. So this p tag now, you can write anything here. The HTML5, or I can just say lorem, shortcuts lorem epson. So save, or go to my page. So you see it here. So this stands for your text in your HTML page. It stands for your text in your HTML page. So these are the key notable things you must know in HTML. Then the next part, if you want to render your page, like this Linda in KD page, now somebody did it, and the web designer that did it, or web developer that did this, you can see now design is a web design page. You come here, you can see if you want to render in Canada, Nigeria, Australia, Ghana, whatever, you can just come here and do anything you want. You want to log in, you want to create an account. So this is a dynamic website, it's a dynamic page. You can go in and do anything you want to do. So this page, you see how the design is, how the pattern is. The design for this, what helps us to do the design for this is what we call the CSS. That one is another training on its own. The CSS makes it possible for you to design all this, to make all this look well presentable. So that's the job of the CSS. But HTML is just the first thing you need to know in the page. All these pages you are seeing here, they are all created in HTML. All these tests you are seeing here, they are all in HTML. So HTML is the first thing, the skeleton of the page. Then the design of the page is your CSS. Then the functionality of the page, that is where you start adding your programming. You add your, either you use PHP, either you use JavaScript. But I usually use JavaScript to render my page. Okay, either I use JavaScript for front end. But the issue now is that all these things you are seeing here, we call it front end. That is, why is it called front end? That's what viewers can see. You can see now, you can see Nigeria here, but there are some things that we cannot see. We call those things back end. Now in back end, you save your data, and back end consists of your database and your server. So this Nigeria we are seeing here now, we already have server for that. When somebody wants to make payment, it is already, the person's info is already, or the person's ID or info is already saved in their database. So those aspects, your server and database, they are all framed in the back end. Then the front end is what we are seeing here. What we are 20,800 is what we are seeing here. The layout, what we are seeing here, we call it our front end. So all these things here are called our front end, but we don't know their services in their server. So that aspect is what we call your back end. So for now, we are doing front end development. All these parts we are doing here, Lion, Zebra, Lorem Ipsum, this is what we call your front end. So because we can see it, users can see them. So we are going to stop here for today. We're going to look at some key notable stuff in your body. We need to look at some notable things in your body, like your footer, your header, main, and footer. Header, main, and footer. Those are the main things we are going to look at for today. So in absence of no question and any other thing, we call the session So thank you. Have a wonderful night's rest.